Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA episode 377. I am Brendan. All right, UFC 299, O'Malley versus Vera 2. The title fight, the leg kick in the making. This card was fantastic. I had a blast watching it most of the way through. The prelims were a little bit of a slog. We'll get to that in the next video. This video is going to break down all the fights round by round. If you like this kind of thing, subscribe to the channel. That way, when the next video is coming out, I'd appreciate it. Like the video, hit the like button. I'd appreciate that too. All right, let's talk about some fights. The main event here. Holy shit. What were you? Did you guys think this was close at any point? Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know. But the Sugar Show just keeps on rolling. It's nonstop. I think this matchup was perfect for O'Malley as far as for him to showcase his skill set. I think the Aljamain Sterling fight was one of his biggest tests. I think the Petr Yan fight was a big test for him. I think that there's a lot of fun matchups for him going forward. I think that we'll talk about those after the fight. But did you guys think this was close at any point? The reason I said holy shit is that I never thought at any moment that Vera was in control. I never thought that at any moment he was going to do anything that could win him. Even his normal, like, I'm going to hit the guy hard. This was very Sandhagen-esque. A front kick from Vera to the leg, and O'Malley going with low kick in the first round. Vera's waiting as usual. O'Malley finding the spots to hit the body with long kicks. Rogan says that Vera's being patient. Here's the thing. Rogan's given him the benefit of the doubt, and he's being very generous with what he's saying. Yes, Vera's being patient, but what's the very first criticism that we hear from Vera every single time? And they mention it later on. He waits too much. He doesn't get going. He gives away the first round. Patience sounds fine, but if you're patient for 5 rounds and you don't capitalize on your patience, then it's not patience anymore. It's a flaw, right? Rogan says that Vera's being, he's being patient, but I just, whatever. Again, there's this thing where I felt like if Vera had landed any good shots in that first round, that would have been the talk of the entire fight. But it was a technical first round with neither guy opening up with anything but O'Malley just picking him apart. Looking at the striking numbers here, 27-9 in favor of O'Malley. Again, not even close. O'Malley varying up the attacks, going with the jab to the body, the straight to the body, the leg kicks, the body kicks, and the hooks up top. Vera just landing the low kicks sometimes, right? The low kick was there for Vera a lot. He went to the legs 9 times in the first round, or attempted it, 9 times in the first round, 12 times in the second round. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what his major focus was. You could see that when he would go to the head, 7 of 29, he just wasn't there to be hit. He got outstruck here 51-16. Vera was, there was a huge knee up the middle landing for O'Malley in this round, busting him up. I don't know if it broke his orbital bone or his nose, but he looked like the kid from Mask after the fight. Vera did, all swollen up and everything, didn't look like himself. And it was from that big knee early, and then obviously all the subsequent damage. But the thing is, like, Vera tries to open up, but it's only in spats, and then he shells up waiting, and O'Malley took advantage of that stuff. O'Malley countered with the right hand to drop Vera at the very end of this round, and then this round, I wanted to give it a 10-8. Because of the amount of damage that was done, but it wasn't that much in my opinion. So 51-16, like I said, definitely a blowout round for O'Malley. He's just a near perfect round. Third round, Vera getting more aggressive, opening up with the kicks, but then gets countered with the right hand and has to back up again, back to shelling up, waiting, a lot of waiting, right? O'Malley, when he backs up completely out of range to dodge an attack from Vera, he immediately re-engages, not allowing a full reset. So what often will happen in a fight is you'll see one guy throw an attack, pause, and then the other guy throws attack, pause, and then, or if they both throw an exchange and they get into like a firefight. But there's usually this rhythm and this attack, go, like go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, like that kind of thing. With O'Malley, it was Vera would go, and then normally there'd be a reset there, and then they would kind of, restart. Not what happened. Vera would go, and then when the reset would normally happen, O'Malley's right back in his face throwing stuff back at him. So they weren't knockout shots every time. It was just poking and prodding the entire time. The worst thing you can do against Vera is shell up and try to block shots. And that's the worst thing you can do, because if you keep moving and throw back at him, he disengages all the time. And that's what I'm saying. Like, every time he would throw something, if O'Malley threw something back or moved out of the way and then re-engaged, Vera would stop and be like, okay, it's your turn now. 30-27. This round, 35-17. It was a closer round, but still a great round for O'Malley. Fourth round, Vera trying to track him down, throwing the flying knees, wild punches, and in the reset, he shells up and gets outpointed. Vera finally able to land some shots in this round when he's chasing him. It could be his round. I just don't see it. He got outstruck here 56-26. Yes, he landed some bigger shots in this round. It's not enough. So I had it 40-36 going into the last round. O'Malley is he's forcing Vera to shell up and staying on the fence. Vera decides with 45 seconds left that now is the time to fight. He does land a good left hook to the body. And the commentary, this was with 4 seconds left. Like, literally, actually, he opens up, and then with 4 seconds left, they start to exchange. And then in the last second, he lands this left hook to the body. And then they make a big deal of how O'Malley sits down after the fight and kind of collects himself and catches his breath. Please shut the fuck up about it. I don't want to see this fight again. I don't want to see this. Do not make a big deal saying that, if he had landed this early. Bullshit. There's no if or ands. Okay? People often talk about this. This was a 50-45 shutout. 61-21 for the striking numbers in this round. If you look at the scorecards here, all three judges had all 5 rounds for O'Malley. The only one with a dissenting scorecard was Saul D'Amato with a 10-8 for O'Malley in the last round. So it's not like he dissented in the opposite direction. He just more so for O'Malley. So just real quick before we move on to like some future matchups, anytime you hear someone make the argument that, had this happened earlier in the round, or had this exchange, especially when it's a wild exchange, right? When they make that argument, it's instantly null and void, because the timing that things happen in a round are contextual. If I know and you know that there's only 10 seconds left in the round, or in the fight for this example, you are more likely to open up knowing that even if you get countered hard, it's unlikely that you're going to get knocked out. It has happened, right? At the Korean Zombie, it does happen, and it can happen. But if you're up 5 rounds to none or 4 rounds to 1, and you open up with 10 seconds left, you're unlikely to lose the fight. Now, it could be a bad look, this and that, whatever. But making it interesting for the last 10 seconds is most likely not going to lose you the fight. Because of that, you're giving your opponent, let's say you're beating me for 5 rounds, right? For most of the, 24 or 24 and a half of the 25 minutes. And with the 30 seconds left, you start to engage a little bit more, trade with me to make it interesting for whatever reason. And then I land a good shot in the exchanges. Well, had you continued to fight the way you did the previous 24 and a half minutes, it is unlikely I would have found that shot. And that's exactly what this is. Unless O'Malley had sat in the pocket for 25 minutes, Vera would never have found the shot anyway. So this whole thing he needed to do this earlier, and if he would have landed this. No, stop. It wouldn't have happened. It didn't happen. He had 25 minutes to find a fucking shot, and he found it with 4 seconds left in an exchange that O'Malley put himself in. That did not happen because Vera worked hard to get to that position. He didn't set anything up. It's not even a lucky punch. It's only there because they were trading. After the fight, a great performance by O'Malley. This was a classic Vera performance, right? Sitting, waiting, not throwing a lot out there, and he loses by a decision. That's classic Vera. O'Malley calls out Ilia Topuria, obviously a weight class up, and I'm whatever with that. I've said it before. I think that that Merab deserves a title shot. He should have had the title shot a year ago, 2 years ago. The guy, if he can get through O'Malley, I think he is the champion. I think he is unbelievably difficult in all facets of MMA. Not that he's the best at any one particular thing, although he is a very good wrestler. It's just his cardio. Well, yeah, he's probably got the best cardio. Good chin, decent enough striking. He's not the best striker. It's just his pressure. Anyway, so I think he deserves the title shot. But afterwards, it was funny that DC thought that Ilia should defend his belt in his division, and Sean should defend his belt in his division before they fight each other. Isn't it funny that he would mention that now, but not when Volkanovski fought Islam Makhachev for the first time? Why do you think that would be? Why would that be? Oh, that's right. Because he trains at AKA. Because Islam's his buddy. And when it comes to a payday or a money fight and a fight that he knows is winnable, do you think he was thinking Volkanovski stood any chance? Did he think that fight was going to... No, it was a payday for Islam, and he was like, he's going to hype it up. That's exactly what this is. But now he's all about the integrity of the divisions. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Get out. That's ridiculous. I don't want to hear it. One other note, Joanna Jędrzejczyk making it to the Hall of Fame. Pretty badass. I think she's, to this day, probably the best strawweight in the division. She had the best strawweight career. Fantastic fighter. Obviously deserving of the Hall of Fame. I think she made that division what it is now. I don't think that without her, it's hard to tell exactly what it was going to be, but if Carla Esparza was champion for multiple fights, I think we would have, a lot of us would have forgotten about that division, possibly been called for it to be eliminated back to the Shadow Realm. So thank you, Joanna, and I'm glad that she's in the Hall of Fame. All right. Fun title fight. Marlon Vera needs to go back to the drawing board. All right. Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint-Denis. I've said this before. Benoit Saint-Denis has one of the most French names ever, and I mean that in a way where, not in a negative way, just that you can't say it unless you pronounce it the French way, right? Because say this, Benoit Saint Denis, not even close. Like Saint and Denis are two, but like that doesn't make sense for a name. I mean, Denis does, but whatever. But Benoit, no way. So that's what I mean. And even Poirier, that's French. So with Benoit Saint-Denis, you're expecting him to come in, push him to the cage, get into the grappling exchanges, wear him out, and that's what it looked like was going to happen. So also, side note, why was this 5 rounds? For what reason? I have no idea. Poirier with the hard low kick as he backs up. Saint-Denis drives for the takedown, fighting off the guillotine. Poirier goes for the guillotine like 2 times or 3 times in this first round. Saint-Denis working the standing backpack, falls off. They stand up and trade against the cage with both guys finding the mark. When they did stand and trade, they both did find the mark, but Poirier does hit harder. Spoiler alert. This Saint-Denis just will not stop pressuring forward, and every time they clinch, there's elbows and knees from him. Poirier's finding moments with some stiff right hands as Denis gets another takedown. This pace is really crazy, and Saint-Denis on his back with the body triangle to end, like in the end of this round. The amount of offense and grappling from these guys is too much. Someone is going to break. At least that's what I thought. 38-12 for Saint-Denis for striking for significant strikes going into the second round. Like I said, obviously a 10-9 round for him. Second round, uppercut from Poirier hurts Saint-Denis, goes for a guillotine like his corner told him not to, ends up mounted, gets his back taken. Poirier wills his way back to the feet, and Saint-Denis just keeps the pressure on. He refuses to stop, and then they trade. Poirier lands a left hand and then a right, and that's it. He puts him down, and it's all over. He did outstrike him in this round for as long as it went on, but the biggest thing there was Poirier's power and precision. He's always been good at that. He's been particularly good over the past 5 years at it, and people find problems with it. Right? It causes a lot of issues in fights. People can outpoint him, outstrike him, maybe outgrapple him. But if you get into exchange, he's going to shell up. You might hit him on the chin a couple times, but he's going to find the mark. And when he does, you better hope that you roll with it, because you're going to go down if you don't. Incredible fight. Obviously when he fought Gaethje, it's a different story. But this fight, I think it puts in perspective how good Poirier is and just how good Saint-Denis can be. I think with a little bit of cleanup, he can definitely be a challenger. I think that this was a little bit of too much of a step up in competition for right now. I think that he could have worked his way up, but he got the opportunity, took it. Poirier took the chance and bet on himself and got the win. Excellent fight with a lot of pressure. That's a good fight to watch. Kevin Holland versus Michael Venom Page, MVP. MVP making his UFC debut. Long dancing walkout for MVP. Little overboard for me, just a little bit. We'll talk about it when we get to the prelims in the next video, but I don't mind some dancing, some showmanship. It was just a little too long for me. That's all. I mean, I thought he's fun doing his normal stuff, bouncy. Page landing a hard low kick and moves in quick with the right hand over the top. Admires his work, making fun of Holland. Holland chasing him down, finally gets into the clinch, but can't do anything with it. Holland just not able to track him down. And MVP is able to dance around, dart in for his strikes. He wasn't able to track him down. Holland was trying to walk through some strikes and land some big ones, just not finding success. He got outstruck here, 17-11, and it's not that Holland didn't find strikes, but it just nothing was impactful. He went to the legs 6 times. That was pretty good, but the head strikes all came back from Page. Yes, Holland did land 4, but it was 12-4 in favor of Page. Obviously a 10-9 round for MVP. Second round, Holland using the side kick at range. It leaps his way in with the right hand and then the clinch. This was actually a pretty cool little exchange here, and I thought that would be the path to victory for him. Holland kicks the legs out, mid MVP spin. Holland gets the back and then to take down, laying out some ground and pound. Page able to get up with 1:45 left. Page looking to drop Holland, but it could have been a slip, or it looked to drop Holland, but it could have been a slip. It was hard to tell. MVP, and Holland looking tired near the end of the round. That knockdown swayed it in favor of Michael Page for me. I love Kevin Holland, so don't hate me for this if you ever watch this or if his fans are out there. I love Kevin Holland. I just felt that with that right hand, if it looked like a knockdown, it looked like he was hurt. That was enough damage for MVP to swing it over in my favor. If you gave this round to Holland, I totally understand. 16-10, Holland did outstrike him and outgrappled him this round with 2 minutes of control time. Last round, I had a 20-18. MVP gets a trip. Holland follows up and gets to the back and works with the takedown. Just nothing doing. MVP having nearly no resistance, bouncing on the outside, landing shots, going in and out. Holland is virtually stationary, not looking like he wants to be in there anymore, kind of frustrated. Holland making fun of him running around. He pretends to act like MVP and bounce around, and that's... when it was on the feet, it was just an MVP fight. When it was on the ground, obviously Holland had his way, but it's just what he did. He wasn't able to do it enough. 14-2 for striking numbers in the last round, not the most active. Looking at the scorecards here, he did get the decision. All 3 judges gave that second round to Holland. Understandable. I don't think those are, Eric Colon, David Torelli, and Christopher Lee. I don't think any of those are bad scorecards. I just didn't have it that way. I know. I felt like I was watching... Sometimes I thought I was watching a different fight. Gilbert Burns versus Della Maddalena. JDM. This is a fun fight. Lots of action. Burns starting with the kicks low into the body. Maddalena not in range for his boxing early. Burns gets a single leg, takes it back momentarily. They get back up. Maddalena with the pressure, but through the first 3 minutes, still not landing that jab or the follow-up. He just wasn't able to find the range. Burns able to throw his chaos hands, swinging big, leaping in, kind of sloppy stuff, finding the mark with a few of them. JDM finally finds the mark with a lean back and comes back over the top with a left hook to the head and going to the body. Burns ends around with a takedown, gets one good shot on the ground. Close round at the start and the very end were for Burns. Neither guy lands a ton of damage. I lean towards Burns. If you look here, the striking numbers, identical, 18-18. I gave this round to Burns. I thought it was close. The control time obviously went to Burns. The striking numbers were dead even. If you gave this to JDM, I get it. I just felt like Burns landed bigger shots early on that kind of swung the damage in his favor, and even if it leveled out, he had the control time. So you got to give this one to Burns. Second round, Burns gets a single leg to the cradle and gets him to the ground for a second, but they get back up. Huge step in elbow for Burns. JDM moves in. Burns getting outpointed, though, through the round, not throwing enough out there. Huge overhand right lands on the chin of JDM. Stops the forward pressure, but just, again, not a lot of follow-up. Burns using the chin strap to the guillotine to get him down, works his way to the back. Here again, close round with Burns landing 2 big shots, but JDM landed more throughout the round. Look at the striking numbers here, 21-9. Now, for those of you guys who don't watch my videos, I do not look at the striking numbers beforehand because that's not fair. When you're scoring things, you can't score it with the eyes of someone who sees the striking numbers because that's not how judges get it, right? And that can also color your opinion in an unfavorable way. If someone lands 100 jabs, like I would say Those counts as significant strikes, but they're do virtually no damage, and the other person lands, one big overhand right that drops the other person down. That damage should go to the dude who gets dropped, but you look at the striking numbers, 100-1. Oh, wow, guy got killed in that round. Can be, and often that's how it goes, but that's not always the case. So because of this, I did give it to Maddalena, right? I thought watching that, I just thought he did more in here. Yes, Burns had 1 minute and 39 seconds of control time. No submission attempts. Not a lot of ground strikes for him. Zero ground strikes. This is one of those rounds where some people were giving it to Burns, and it was really odd. Like, even JDM's corner said he lost that round. I didn't think so. Burns didn't land anything that really affected JDM. Anyway, this is moot, because in the third round, JDM starts getting more aggressive, opening up the offense, not countering as much, instead looking to start the interactions, right? Lands at hooks to the body, and that overhand left lands. When they stand in exchange, JDM gets the better of it with the volume and the variety that he lands. So Burns looking for the takedown yet again. JDM lands a knee as Burns gets up. That was a crazy exchange, and Burns didn't land any strikes in this round, apparently. Significant strikes, 28-0 in favor of Maddalena. That knee stung him. He follows up, gets a ground and pound, and then JDM gets the win. I am curious to see, big win for JDM. Look at this. Look at the scorecards here. This is wacky. Alessio Rodriguez gave the first 2 rounds to Burns. Christopher Lee gave the first 2 rounds to Burns. If JDM doesn't get a finish in that third round, he loses his fight. He loses his fight because it doesn't matter what Saul D'Amato thinks. Saul D'Amato gave JDM that first round. I had the opposite score. I get the scorecards. I get them. I don't think that they're correct. I think there was a misinterpretation of what happened in that second round. I might be in the minority here. You guys let me know what you guys thought. If maybe I'm crazy. I felt like, again, I only watched a fight once, so I haven't really dug through it with a fine tooth comb, but that's not how you can score. You can't score a fight like that the first time. You can't go through it and count every single strike and then add them up on a point sheet, because you can't do that when you're watching it live. You score it live. That's how you do it. Good fight, though. JDM's the real deal. Got a lot of stuff to work on, but he's the real deal. All right, first fight on the card, Petr Yan versus Song Yadong. I feel on a different night, this goes a different way, just depending on the judges. The fight starts out like a fencing match is how it looked. Both guys on the outside looking to dart in with a single strike, and then the other slides and counters. It was very, like I said, very fencing-esque. Yan's finding success with the jab to the body. Song has more impact on his shots early. They don't land flush, but they're making a noise, and they do count. Song has more... he catches a kick, holds him down for a minute. Good round for Song. Yan needs to find a rhythm on the inside shots. Look at the striking numbers here. They're really close, 22-20 in favor of Yan. It was really very close. If you say that the damage was even, which I don't think it was, I think Song did more damage. The control time. That does make a difference. When everything else is equal, you go to control time, and Yadong had that. So, second round here. Song looking for that lead left hook and the single leg, both as a feint and a drive. So he'll drive him with that single leg. He'll attempt it as a feint. It's really cool stuff. Yan finding the mark with that jab, countering the takedown attempt with the uppercut. He really just started to find his way through this fight, kind of pick apart Song's offense. It wasn't that he picked apart his defense so much. It was when Song would open up, Yan would find some moments to attack, and then he would make him miss as the fight went on. Song went back to the 1-2 and landing that really well. Yan using the snap down and the low kick to mix things up. Yan's digging to the body. Song comes back with big shots over the top. If this was a 5-rounder, those body shots might add up a little bit more. Yan with the beautiful takedown with 30 seconds left, and this was his round. Outlanded him 41-31. Damage was in his favor, and he had... they both had a little bit of control time, but Petr Yan had the takedown. Song just not able to get takedowns in this round. So I had it 19-19 going to third. They exchange kicks in the middle, and Yan's going to the body, going for another takedown. He's really opening up his offense in this round. Song landing the jab, and if Yan doesn't do something, that could be the fight right there, right? Just the numbers from Song could have won him this fight. just throwing that jab out there, putting those numbers in his favor. But Song just not able to secure those takedowns now. And Jan's landing to the body with the body shots and the uppercut with 2 minutes left. If either guy landed a big shot, they would take it. Neither guy did. Song with a lot of output, using that to try and press the cage for a break. But Jan says, no, thank you, and gets the takedown of his own. Jan just gutted that one out. Song couldn't land enough damage with his volume in that last round. Looking at the striking numbers here, oh my God, so close. 36 to 35 in favor of Jan. But again, control time on the ground, minute and 14 seconds. Do you think Song landed more damage? That's my point. On any other given night, I could see this going a different way. Looking at the scorecards here, all three judges had the same way. David Torelli, Michael Tate, and Christopher Lee gave the second two rounds, the round 2 and round 3 to Petr Yan. Good fight. Great card. Most of it was very fun to watch. There was a little bit of tentativeness in some fights, some lack of exchanges at certain moments, but overall, good card to watch. If you didn't do it, this might be a one to not wait on. Go find a way to watch this one. It was fun to watch. Thank you guys for stopping by. It means a lot to me. Subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of stuff. That way you know the next video is coming out. I'd appreciate it. Then also, if you like this video, hit the like button. I really do appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Love y'all.